Hello, my name is Scott Dunham. Um, this is my video for the final, and my two theories that I wanted to talk about are from about personalities, and I wanted to compare the theories of Freud to Carl Jung. And what I found the most interesting about it is they're both about how an average person functions day to day and how their traits uh, affect how their daily lives will work and how these natural differences decide to kind of what type of person you might be. And for Freud, I think he is an early pioneer of these traits, although I don't fully agree with everything he said. I do think that his idea of fighting the consciousness, the id versus the ego, doing what you want versus doing what you believe is right, is something that is very interesting. And I think even for people that don't like Freud, they will find that interesting because I think we always naturally conceive, for example, the angel on your shoulder or the devil on your shoulder, and this is kind of more of a psychological explanation for that. And I think that it uh, really gives you an idea of, okay, this is what goes on in your subconscious when you want to make a decision. So for me, a decision would be, do I want to do this class? Do I want to take this final? Well, the part of me that it isn't super keen on that would be like, oh, well, I'd rather just not do that. But the part of me that's reasonable would say that no, this is the right thing to do. It will help you get ahead in life. And so that would be an example, just very quickly, of a decision that you know I would make on a daily basis. Um, and I think Carl Jung is a little bit different because he's less focused on what we do, like our self desires, and more about focusing on like the natural things, like what do we prefer? Do we prefer to be more extroverted, and do we prefer to get our energy from talking to others, or do we prefer to get our sort of creative processes from being alone? And I think that um, personally, while not everybody will always fall into these archetypes, I do think that there are people who will prefer one versus the other, even if it's not super uh, noticeable. There's always people, even people who might be more outgoing, will probably say, "Oh, I get most of my ideas when I'm by myself and I'm thinking," versus people who might be more outgoing and more um, out there. They might not necessarily always be extroverted, but they might be getting their energy from being alone. There are people who have trouble talking, but they're more collaborative. Their ideas come from other people. They might be extroverts, even though they're more socially awkward. So I think that those two theories, while they're about different things, I believe they connect in the fact that they're both about how in my life do I get my decisions, or how do I process things. So whether it's a desire thing or whether it's an energy based thing where I get my decisions when I'm alone, or whether it's part of the subconscious, I think that both of them are integral to kind of understanding how to make better decisions and how to uh, get more focused and where to get your energy from. So that's why I picked these theories, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you guys have a great future, and thank you for everything.